this is the next stage of your artist career. You have to choose what you want to get good at and just narrow your focus to that alone. What I mean is, Blender is extremely powerful, but because of that, there's so many different paths you can take. You can be a rigger, you can be 3D animation, you can just, there's so much to the point that you get overwhelmed and you do not have enough time to master everything that Blender has to offer. If you want to get a job as a 3D artist, if you want this to be your livelihood, you have to choose the path now. You have to choose what you want to get good at. So my suggestion is you need to have one thing that you're a master of. And what I mean by master is you can say hands down that no one else is better than you at that specific field. So you want to get really, really good at it. And at max, I would say three. So with that said, we need to discuss the different fields and the different styles. So starting off with the different styles, there's essentially two main ones in media. One is hyper realism. So essentially making our world, our physical world, into 3D. So think of the Avatar movies. We have the blue people, right? I mean, it looks like they're real people. It actually looks like you're on an alien planet. It's photorealistic. It's hyper realism. Take the Jungle Book from the Disney movies. The latest Jungle Book movie, where they had to actually simulate the skeleton structure. They had to simulate the muscles. It's hyper realism. You're essentially simulating the real world in virtual. Now, personally, that's not where my style is going towards. My style is more of the stylized, so which goes into the second category. So stylized, it's where it doesn't have to be realistic. It's just have to have your own style, so you have a unique style. Now, when you're doing that style, everything has to follow that rule. So, for example, The Amazing World of Gumball. So there's a lot of different styles, but it follows a very specific rule. For example, the environments are photorealistic. All the characters are hand drawn, and like different species are like different types of animation of like sock puppets, and etc. So you need to have a style. So either you're hyper realistic or you're essentially cartoonish. You have a unique style, like Into the Spider-Verse, right? That's stylized. Now let's talk about the next part, which is the fields. So the fields, there's a lot, and I actually am looking at a list of like the things I can think of. So the first one is simulations. Second one is VFX. Third is lighting. Fourth is materials. Fifth is 3D modeling. Sixth is 3D sculpting. Then we have rigging, 3D animation, 2D animation, sound design, storyboarding, background artist, scripting, and compositing, which essentially is, like Photoshop for Blender. So those are the fields that I could come up with for Blender specifically. There's probably more that I didn't think of. But going back to like three fields you need to master. So first off, you need to pick what style you're going to go towards. Are you going to hyper realistic or stylized? Once you figure that out, you need to figure out what field you want to go into. So, for example, let's say you want to do animations. So, let's say you need to one master, modeling a character. So that's the first one, modeling a character. Second one is rigging a character. Third one is animation of a character. So you have the style, which is stylized, and then you have, rigging, modeling, and animating a character. So that's what you're really good at. Now, so for someone else, it could be hyper realism, but it could be as an environment. So that would be, 3D lighting, that would be, 3D modeling. It would be going more into that direction. One of the things that I regret is not listening to my dad. And he told me I don't have enough time to master everything. You truly do not. This is from personal experience. You gotta pick three that you want to get good at, or maybe just one. It, you just don't have enough time.